Every summer, millions of people drive across this bridge on their way to Sandy Hook, and every single one of them passes a house.
Highland Beach, Highland Beach.
It's right there, off to the left, a white cedar shake house tucked under the bridge ramp. You'd never look twice. But that house is 135 years old. 5 generations of one family lived in it, and it's the last surviving piece of what used to be the most popular beach resort on the Jersey Shore.
To 20,000 in a day, coming in from everywhere. 20,000 in a day, and every one of them was there with the same old simple thing. An afternoon that felt like it would never end. 20,000 strangers going home like friends.
Before the National Park, before Fort Hancock, before the Parkway and the $1 Million Bridge and the parking fee, there was Highland Beach, and it was magic.
He came down the hill with a folded map and a name he'd borrowed from his father's hands.
In 1888, a man named William Sandlass leased 5 acres of undeveloped barrier beach at the southern tip of Sandy Hook and opened an excursion resort. He built bathing pavilions and a boardwalk. He put up a restaurant called the Surf House and a basket pavilion where families could eat overlooking the Atlantic. He constructed bathhouses so city people could change into rented swimming costumes and feel the ocean for the first time.
Down along the marshes where the herons wait, past the brickyards and the orchards and the farms, the old train leaning toward the water gate, and the ocean opening its arms.
This was the Gilded Age, the dawn of leisure time in America. The cities were sweltering and overcrowded. New York in summer was a nightmare of heat, horse manure, and coal smoke. Doctors were literally prescribing trips to the shore for people's health. Fresh salt air and cold ocean bathing were considered medicine. And Highland Beach was the closest beach to New York City. The trains ran right to it. You could board a steamboat in Manhattan, land at Atlantic Highlands, transfer to the Central Railroad of New Jersey, and be standing on Sandlass's boardwalk in under 2 hours. For a factory worker in Brooklyn or a clerk in Lower Manhattan, this was paradise. And William Sandlass, Will, everyone called him, he kept building. The man was a showman, a tinkerer. Every season he added something new. He brought in a Great Switchback Railroad, one of the first roller coasters in America, modeled after the one at Coney Island. 5 cents a ride. The track ran 600 feet along the beach, 50 feet high. When the ride's patent holders sued and won, Will didn't sulk. He tore down the roller coaster and used the timber to build a new building on its exact footprint, a fruit and cigar store with a billiards room and bowling alley. The Sandlass family lived upstairs. That building? That's Building 600.
He stacked the lumber where the coaster stood and raised the roof and moved his family inside. You can't tear something down without leaving something standing. You can't tear something down without making something new. He took the timber from the ride and built the walls his family lived inside. That's the trick of every switchback. What falls comes back to you.
He installed a merry-go-round, a candy store. He brought in bamboo from Cuba, had an entire railroad car full of it shipped to New Jersey, and built the Bamboo Garden, an open-air tropical restaurant right on the beach. 50,000 lineal feet of Cuban bamboo on the sand at Sandy Hook, in New Jersey, in 1908.
Amber light through the smoke and the laughter. Trumpet bends like it knows what you came here after. Cards are dealt on the green. Everybody's a winner till the man in the corner decides you're the dinner. Pour the gin, let the music do its talking. Every shadow in this room has a history of walking through the doors of a place where the rules are gets ended. Welcome to the bamboo room, where the music plays.
By 1910, Highland Beach was drawing 20,000 visitors a day. 20,000! On a summer Sunday, this narrow strip of sand between the ocean and the bay was one of the most crowded, most joyful places on the entire East Coast. Ocean bathing on one side, river bathing on the other. Families renting cabanas, couples dancing at night, kids riding the merry-go-round while their parents ate the famous $1 Shrewsbury dinner. The cottages filled every summer. Families didn't own the land, they leased it from Sandlass, built their own small houses, and came back year after year after year. 3 generations of the same families, on the same porches, watching the same sunsets. This is where the North Jersey Shore was born. Not Long Branch, not Atlantic City, here. On 5 leased acres of sand that a tinkerer from the Highlands turned into something people couldn't stay away from. D.W. Griffith shot films here. The America's Cup race sailed past this beach in 1899, while Frank Leslie's Illustrated covered it from shore. The resort was so successful that it overwhelmed the transportation infrastructure. They had to build a whole new bridge across the Shrewsbury River just to handle the crowds. For 75 years, from 1888 to 1962, the Sandlass family ran Highland Beach. 3 generations. Will built it, his son Henry modernized it, opened the Bamboo Room Cocktail Lounge in 1941 using remnants of his father's original Cuban bamboo. They survived 21 storms, 2 world wars, and the Great Depression. They couldn't survive the government.
The letter came in January. The ground was frozen hard, typed on government paper, certified and sealed. It said the state requires your house, your beach, your yard for the purpose of a public recreation field. 75 summers in a single page, a family reduced to lots of numbers on a deed. They called it progress, they called it a new age.
In the early 1960s, the Department of the Army and the state of New Jersey used eminent domain to take the Sandlass family's land. The state wanted to turn the south end of Sandy Hook into a public park. The resort, all of it, had to go. In 1962, Henry and Helen Sandlass were awarded $350,000 in condemnation proceedings by the state of New Jersey Superior Court for everything: the pavilions, the cottages, the Bamboo Room. 75 years of a family's life work. They took the money because they had no choice. That's what eminent domain means. The government decides your land serves a greater public purpose, and you get a check. The buildings came down, the boardwalk was pulled up, the cottages were removed one by one. The Bamboo Room, the one Henry built with his father's bamboo from Cuba, was demolished. In 1974, the Army closed Fort Hancock and turned everything over to the Department of the Interior. Gateway National Recreation Area was born. A new highway ramp was built right through what had been the Sandlass family's front lawn. And when the dust settled, one building was still standing: the house William Sandlass built from roller coaster timber in 1893. Building 600. Still there, still standing. The only surviving structure from Highland Beach.
They gave it a number when they took the name away. Building 600 Hartshorn Drive.
Susan Sandlass Gardner is William's granddaughter. She grew up in this house. She's the one who's been fighting to save it. In 2020, Susan wrote a book, Sandy Hook's Lost Highland Beach Resort. Everything I just told you, and 1,000 details I didn't. The postcards, the family photos, the stories her grandmother told her about what it sounded like when the roller coaster was still running. Chris Brenner, a local filmmaker, made an award-winning documentary called Destinations Past that tells the same story through his father's eyes. His dad worked at the resort, tended bar at the Bamboo Room. Chris's parents actually met at Highland Beach. These aren't historians studying a subject. These are people who lost a place they loved and spent years making sure the rest of us would know what was there.
The roof caved in, the seagrass grew. The river lapped against the cedar walls, and every summer 500,000 people drove right through.
When Susan talks about Building 600, she doesn't talk about historical significance or architectural merit. She talks about the screen door, the way it sounded when it closed behind you in summer, the light through the kitchen window in the afternoon, the view of twin lights from the porch, the fact that her family lived upstairs from a cigar store that used to be a roller coaster. That's the thing about old houses. They're not just structures, they're evidence. Evidence that real people lived real lives in a place that the official history has paved over. Every layer of paint on that house is a summer someone came back. Every patch in the cedar shake is a storm someone survived. Building 600 isn't a museum piece. It's proof that Highland Beach wasn't a myth. It was real, and a family built it with their hands. I drive past this house every time I go to the Hook. For years, I didn't think about it. It was just a house by the bridge, another old building in a place full of old buildings. Then I learned what it was, what it stood on, what used to surround it, the merry-go-round and the Switchback Railroad, and 20,000 people on a summer Sunday, and a man named Will who built his family's home out of roller coaster wood. And now, I can't unsee it. I can't drive past it without feeling something. That's what I want this video to do for you. The Park Service responds to the communities it serves. If enough people say this matters, if enough people know what Highland Beach was and what Building 600 represents, the calculus changes. This is what I'm asking. Share this video. That's the single most important thing you can do. Every share puts Highland Beach's story in front of someone who didn't know it existed. And every person who knows makes it harder to quietly demolish the last piece. 75 summers, the Sandlass family gave this place to the public. The least we can do is fight for the one thing they left behind.
Dream, stand between the river and the sea, penny rods and bamboo rooms. Now they want to take it all from me.